jobs. Here to talk more about it, Anthony Esposito is the founder and CEO of Island Capital Investments. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mitch Modell is reportedly looking to raise $1 billion to throw a financial lifeline to both Party City and Big Lots. In this economy right now, though, can he do it, Anthony? Because, you know, the thing is, when you look at Modell's, it's a New York City icon. I think they had some locations in New Jersey. Many people respect that brand, but that brand also went out of business. So do you think that this is a good opportunity that he's actually trying to explore?
I think any opportunity is a good opportunity. I mean, he's obviously been successful with the Modell's brand, especially in New York City. At this point, I don't know that it's really a lifeline that's viable. We have Party City essentially Gordon Brothers have come in with Party City and the Big Lots Chapter 11 filings. Party City has had 2 bankruptcy filings in the last 2 years. That company assets, locations are being liquidated and shut down. So there has been no private equity interest, and Gordon Brothers, who is handling the distressed retailer, is determining that that needs to be shut down and just kind of dismantled. So, you know, maybe it's a good effort, maybe it's a good look at, but I don't think it works. Big Lots is slightly different. Big Lots, there's been some private equity conversations. Those ended in December with a Chapter 11 filing, and Gordon Brothers again involved there. They're looking to keep 200 to 400 stores open of the 800 or so that were in existence. So there's some value there. Maybe that's a better play for the takeout. But I think right now things are kind of in full motion, and it seems like the path is set with Gordon Brothers kind of running both shows.
Well, Party City workers were shown the door immediately and were not given any severance pay. Their benefits are up tonight. How do you restore loyalty after that?
Loyalty in Party City, I don't think you do. I think the brand has just gone to the wayside, kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese or a Best Buy Blockbuster. So it's just as consumer preferences change, management's kind of misstep potentially, technology changes. You know, these things evolve and drop off. It's very Darwinian, and I think Party City will just be kind of a body at the side of the road like many other retailers have become. So just part of the system. It's part of the market.
True, true. But the thing is that even Toys R Us is trying to make a comeback, and I do think that they have a good strategy this time around. Sometimes you don't go brick and mortar, and sometimes you actually revive your opportunities through partnerships.
Yeah, they're in
So
Macy's.
that way you can revive the brand, form a partnership, and you actually, how can I say, shared space, if you will, with some other brands and possibly, you know, because it's all about traffic flow, is it not?
Oh, it totally is. I mean, Toys R Us is like the revenant of the retailers. They just refuse to die. I remember trading back on the floor of the stock exchange in the early 2000s as the story was unwinding, and they just stick around. So whether it's the brand, whether it's just an iconic brand that people recognize and they can kind of find a fit somewhere or not, there's ways to kind of make these things work. But then there are other brands that just don't last. I mean, I anecdotally, I remember growing up in Staten Island, there was a Toys R Us on one end of the Staten Island Mall parking lot, and there was a Wiz on the other end. No one's talking about the Wiz anymore, but Toys R Us is still kind of hanging around. So there are ways to make this work, and I think Toys R Us has continued with some private equity help and, you know, moves along the way. They've done a good job of that. But I don't feel like Party City is in that boat, mostly because it's just such a saturated market, whether it's online or brick and mortar. There's so much competition there. They just have not kept up, and I don't think that they bring anything innovative to the table at this point, and it's just kind of, you know, for lack of a better term, it's just kind of run its course, and management has not kept up with the landscape.
You brought me down memory lane with the Wiz, Crazy Eddie,
There you go.
Caldor, like so many different brands that just went under. Interesting. Nothing lasts forever, right, Anthony? It's like love.
Oh, Oh, wait.
You could say.
No. You guys are tarnished.
For
You're
some,
tarnished
for
for
some.
some. Yeah. Well, we've enjoyed this because I think of Blockbuster too. You know, they couldn't
Yeah.
keep up with the times, and they were on every single corner. Remember when you had to rewind your tape? Otherwise, you would have to pay a fee. That was on Seinfeld last night, by the way.
But you know, Anthony, Jesse brings up a very good point. The difference between, the way I see it, the difference between Blockbuster, they failed to have a robust strategy by actually scanning the environment, if you will, to understand that the future is streaming,
Yep.
not DVD. Unlike Party City, it just became, it's like cannibalized by online sales and other competitors in general.
Agreed. I mean, looking back, there were those that thought streaming was the future and could see that technology coming. Blockbuster was just, they were just behind the times and couldn't catch up at that point. Party City is a little different, like you said, to your point, where there's just so many places to buy balloons, Barney plates and cups and napkins with Dracula on them at Halloween time. I don't know that Party City's bringing anything special to the table. And as everybody tightens their economic belt, spending tightens up, things are a little harder. It's kind of like the tide goes out and you can see who has pants on, and right now Party City does not. So when things are great and everyone's spending a lot of money, you could have a weaker management strategy and team. You can have a very competitive landscape, and there's enough to go around. As that pairs back and you really need to be the winner in the race, you have winners and losers, and that spread will widen, and I think that's what Party City is seeing.
Well, I think Big Lots still has a lot of use, though, because Big Lots really does address, they have a lot of items that are discounted that people actually need for home repair that cannot necessarily go to a contractor and purchase top-tier items, such as, right out of, maybe Home Depot or Lowe's, for example. And so when you're with Big Lots, you actually can get items that may have been pushed off or something that may not be quite as premier, and be able to still renovate your home or do things within your properties that is more affordable. So what is your outlook with Big Lots? I don't think that they've gone to the wayside with, the same Dracula plates that you'll find at Target or Walmart, for example. What is it that your thoughts are on Big Lots being able to rebound?
Yeah, I think Big Lots, to your point, and I think you're spot on, Big Lots has had some private equity interest. And Gordon Brothers, who's taking care of the distressed retailer at this point, is planning on keeping a quarter to a half of the stores open. So right there, you can see that there's some value there. They have home furnishing, they have home repair products. They have a different array of products that's almost like a lower end Home Goods / Home Depot / Lowe's. So I think there is some value there. And that's evident in the fact that they are planning on keeping, 200 to 400 stores open and keeping the Big Lots name on top of those stores. So it's brand recognition in Big Lots for sure. Their product line is different. Their clientele is different. They kind of have a different niche versus the Party City.
Makes sense. And before we move forward, just have to make this quick note. If it wasn't for streaming, Netflix would have gone the way of Blockbuster, because Netflix was trying to actually sell itself to Blockbuster, and Blockbuster resisted. So they actually were saved by streaming, by technology, if you will.
Absolutely.
Anthony Esposito, thanks so much for joining First Edition. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy New Year.